Temu bedbugs, if you will. Larry David kind of, they'll do bedbugs. Should I go on? Never mind. I'll stop there.
I get it.
It's time to take A Therapeutic Dose, a prescription-strength reality TV podcast that explores the intersection of reality TV and therapy. Possible side effects may include entertainment, strong emotional reactions, and or laughter. Here are your hosts, Ramona Ramirez and Margie McGee.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to A Therapeutic Dose, where we meet at the intersection of reality TV and therapy. I am Ramona Ramirez Higgins. My dear friend and beloved co-host, Margie McGee, is still on her sabbatical. I think that she'll be with us next week, and I'm so excited that she'll be back in time to round out this season. But sitting in her place, well, not necessarily in her place, because obviously Margie's irreplaceable, but sitting with us today, joining us today, we are so blessed, so lucky, so fortunate to be joined by Mr. Josh Higgins. My husband, Josh. Hi, Higgy. How are you?
Hi, everybody.
Thank you so much for making the space to join us today. I'm so happy to have you here with us, Josh, because of all the Bravo shows that you and I watched together. Mm-hmm. And we have been watching Bravo together ever since we first started dating. I remember, I think Orange County was on, I don't know, something like that. And you were like, yeah, I'll watch. I don't remember if you'd actually started watching before I entered the scene, but you were totally into it. And I was so grateful. Do you remember if you were watching Orange County or any Bravo shows before?
No,
I wasn't
watching any. I wasn't watching any. I was into it because I was into you.
Aw.
And now I'm into it.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Anyway, of all of the shows that we watch on Bravo, Summer House activates you the most. Summer House is the one where you either don't fall asleep or you actually have something to say while the show is on. Mm-hmm. Why do you think that is?
I think a lot of the male figures on that show are the type that I despised, like in high school and kind of still. Sort of how they act and how they treat each other and the way they think I don't know, it's just very activating for me. It's annoying. It's entertaining, but it's annoying.
Yeah, that's very interesting because you definitely seem to be viscerally triggered by especially someone like Kyle, especially someone like West, especially after the news about Wes and Amanda broke. That made West even more annoying to you, I observed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
so,
that's true.
Interesting. Well, we're not going to spend too much time talking about outside of the episode Summer House news. If you haven't had a chance to listen, I kind of did a brain dump a few days ago where I just kind of shared my thoughts so far on Wes and Amanda and all of the audio leaks and other news surrounding it pertaining to Wes and Amanda. It's called an ancillary dose, so we're just going to jump in right now. But if you want to listen to my thoughts on that, it's one episode back behind this one. So we start the episode on Saturday, August 23 at 11:05 a.m. All of the cast, except for Sierra and West, are getting ready for their boat day. Scott, who is Mia's boyfriend, is unfortunately unable to attend. He's on his way back to New York to tend to his restaurant business. And so while he's backing out of the driveway and waving goodbye to the Summer House cast, Kyle takes this as an opportunity to air hump Mia while he's waving goodbye to Scott.
Just so inappropriate. It's incredibly inappropriate.
I thought so. I thought it was very hyper familiar for someone that I think this is only obviously on screen, it's only the second time that they've hung out socially, Scott and Kyle. Yeah.
Yeah. It was 100% on brand for that dude.
For Kyle?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I knew you'd have something to say about that, Higgy. So on the way to the boat dock, Kyle asks Mia, do you think there's a world where Sierra is going to acknowledge that she still has lingering feelings for West? Mia's like, absolutely not. This has to be friendship first. And Kyle says, listen, I'm sorry. I'm just a hopeless romantic. And Ben's like, bro, you're just hopeless. And they all laugh. And Kyle does seem happier without Amanda being there, though. We have to remember Amanda is still back in the city. This is the weekend where she opted out not to go. I have a feeling that she opted out because, I do think that she is trying to protect her peace, mental health wise. But I also think that she probably hand-fed everything to West that he was going to say to Sierra at the boat dock. And I also think she didn't want to be there when West and Sierra were having that conversation because it would be too hard for her. Because I think that they were already emotionally involved at this point. I think that, well, I'll get there. I have that in my notes, but that's why I don't think Amanda's there, in case anyone gives a shit. So Jesse asks the car full of people, what if when we get there, they're just hand in hand raised in the air? Cut to Sierra and West greeting them at the boat dock. Hi, guys. And their hands are clasped and in the air, very much giving newly engaged couple vibes, don't you think?
Yeah. Yeah. It was a little over the top, I think. Yeah. It was just like, it was very performative and weird in my mind. Like they knew everyone was just waiting for that.
They were.
It's just weird.
So KJ is wondering out loud, did you guys get married? And Jesse's like, oh my God, did they hear us? And just knowing what's coming down the line is so gnarly because Sierra looks a combination of relieved, happy, ecstatic. West, obviously, I don't know what to believe with this guy anymore. So he was very performative, as you said. That's a good term. So everyone's overjoyed to learn that they've made up, and they're smothering Wes and Sierra in hugs, and they all board the boat they've charted. And Jesse is wearing his soft bar cap, so Carl asks for a selfie. That is actually the hat that I want. I've been looking for that hat on the Soft Bar website for months, even though it has terrible, terrible typeface. I want it. I want that one. I don't want the one in the sans serif typeface. I want the OG, ugly tan color Soft Bar hat, and it's been sold out. Anyway, I need to get a grip, babe. I need to get a grip. So on the boat, Sierra is admiring Mia's generous, shapely derriere and says, none of my clothes would accommodate your juicy booty, basically. And Mia asks Sierra, hey, how did your talk with West go? And Sierra tells her, through tears, I might add, that it went well. And as weird as it is, she feels like he is her person. We have this really weird friendship, and it's hard to ignore. And my heart broke throughout this episode looking at Sierra's, just her whole demeanor. And like, again, I said relief, like there's relief that this connection has been cleaned up and reestablished with what she interprets to be clearer boundaries, which clearly West and boundaries, it's, those don't, boundaries who? Never met them,
Yep.
And so it's just heartbreaking to see. This is what I love about Sierra is how earnest she is.
Mm-hmm.
And watching the earnestness and her authenticity come out, it's so hard. It's so heartbreaking. It just adds extra insult to injury, I think. So Mia is praising her friend, telling Sierra, I'm so proud of you. I know this kind of conversation isn't easy for you to have. They both agree that her having a conversation is not who she is. And Sierra says, I'm more of a snip kind of a girl. And I disagree. I think she's way more open and curious than she gives herself credit for. Because even when she wasn't talking to West, it was still like weighing heavy on her. She wasn't like out of sight, out of mind. She can't do that. Like, I think Lindsay can do that with Carl, but I don't think Sierra is actually capable of being full snip.
No, I think it's interesting that what she wants people to think about her and what actually she is two different things. But I'm sure the other piece is because, she's also protecting her ego a little bit.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Before this conversation, Sierra had so much confusion and grief. And like Margie always says, the opposite of love isn't hate. The opposite of love is indifference. And she never hated West. I think she probably hated what he did to her, hated his behavior. I don't know that Sierra can actually ever hate anybody. I'm not sure. Maybe she can. But she was very, very far from indifferent about him. So in her confessional, Sierra says, everyone knows I'm not warm and fuzzy. Okay, I'm warm, not fuzzy. I guess making up isn't really my thing, but being less rigid is the theme of my summer, okay? I applaud her. I applaud her for doing what made her so vehemently uncomfortable. And she did it anyway, having this conversation and making herself vulnerable. Hates to make herself vulnerable. Did it anyway. So she is showing up regardless of this man's behavior, regardless of this man's reaction or what he chooses to do. She's always been true to herself. And that's all that matters for any of us, I think. And it's so hard, like you just said, with the ego. We all want to protect our ego. But well, you tell me, what do you think happens when we protect our ego? What do we miss out on when we protect our ego?
Growth, really. Yeah, I think growth. You miss out on really looking at the real thing, what's actually going on, rather than masking it, and so that leads to growth, I believe. I'm noticing that she is striving for a bit of growth and pushing herself into uncomfortable areas for him, and he's just same old, same old. Just he's not trying. He's just being him, his lame self.
I agree. So we see the cast frolicking in the water. They have seafaring merriment all around, except for KJ, who's feeling seasick. And then, Amanda decides to FaceTime Kyle. And Kyle answers, and she doesn't.
Wait, I thought she didn't FaceTime Kyle. She FaceTimed somebody else. That's what I found interesting.
No, she FaceTimed Kyle, but asked to talk to Sierra.
Okay. I missed that. I thought she FaceTimed Sierra.
No,
first,
she FaceTimed Kyle.
Like, wow, that really says a lot.
No, she FaceTimed Kyle, but doesn't even say hello to him, just says, is Sierra there?
Yeah, that's why I missed it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, okay.
Exactly. So Sierra is now holding Kyle's phone, and Kyle asks Amanda, well, when Wes said best night ever in the group chat thread that they all have, and you said, damn, was that sarcasm? And she answers, no, it was like, way to rub salt in the wound, West. And Kyle says to Sierra, okay, wow, so she was jealous. What? So are we to glean that they probably had a conversation? Like, is she jealous that she missed out on the night that Wes said best night ever? And he's getting confirmation. So Amanda says, yeah, Wes' best night of his life is the one I'm not there. That feels great. And Kyle says, yeah, you made it about you, but I get it. And she replies, well, of course I did. What?
One thing I found interesting was his reaction was not what I would think it would be.
Kyle's reaction wasn't?
Yeah. I thought it would be much bigger. I mean, if you think back to other situations, he's cussed at her, told her to fuck off, and that one I would think would cause a bigger reaction out of him. So it's interesting that it didn't. And so when you just said that they had a conversation before, I hadn't thought about that.
I mean, we don't know.
Because it seems like, but it just seems like he was, that seems how quickly he gets triggered. It seems like that would have really been triggering for him.
Well, Kyle kind of runs on two speeds. He's either like full on fuck you, like he did a couple episodes back, or he's pathetic, drunk guy at the end of the night. Oh, you don't love me.
But that was neither of those things.
Right.
That was
we
right
didn't get
down
to
the
see
middle,
it. We didn't get to see it on camera when he initially reacted to the group chat, the brute chat.
True.
God, I wish we had unedited footage. I'd watch it all. So Kyle says, all right, well, I love you. Bye. And she just says, bye. Doesn't say I love you back. Doesn't say I love you back to Sierra. And I'm like, right in front of our face. The whole thing was right in front of our face. Yeah. We're watching it. It's so wild.
As we're watching, I always go back and forth between the thought of, if I didn't know everything, like, would that be something that I would notice? I'm not sure it would be. I don't know.
Well, we did, though. For all the episodes that started airing between February and March 31, when they released their definitive statement saying, yes, the rumors are true, we were watching a couple that we knew were headed towards separation and probably ultimately divorcing because they announced their separation. They said they weren't living together in November, and then in January they announced their formal separation
Yeah.
before the season even started airing.
But yeah.
So when we're watching this, we know that this is their last summer they're going to be together as a married couple.
Yeah. But what I'm saying is if we didn't know that.
If we didn't know that they were going to be separating,
Yeah. If
would we have
hadn't
noticed this?
Yeah, would we have noticed? And these are, that FaceTime was pretty subtle, but knowing everything, it's way bigger. You know what I mean?
No, I don't.
Like, I don't know if we would have put so much into her saying great about his comment. Like, that might have just been a throwaway comment that no one noticed. But I think knowing what's behind it, it packs a bigger punch. I don't know. That's what I always go back and forth with as I'm watching this. It's like,
that's what's so fascinating about watching this season in particular is knowing it's like it's having to ask her. Like there's so much to get into if you want to.
Mm-hmm.
So Mia and Dara are sitting and chatting, and Mia asks how it's been going ever since they announced they were exclusive. And Dara says, listen, I'm not going to lie. I was nervous yesterday because I saw you and Sierra talking to KJ. And we see a flashback of them telling KJ, you know, Sierra saying it seems like it's going kind of fast. And Mia saying, you know, you're younger than Dara. And Dara reassures Mia, like, listen, I get it. I acknowledge that this is quick, but I don't have any qualms. And if he were to change his mind and double back, it would wreck me. And meaning like if he didn't want to be exclusive, if he didn't want to be in this relationship, it would devastate me. And Mia says that KJ is super mature for his age, to which Dara replies emphatically, good God, the way I've been waiting for that. You know, and we know she dated West. This is a very different experience for her than West Wilson was.
Yeah.
But then Mia shares her concerns with Dara. Well, he's younger than you, which means you're in different phases of life. And I was like, but does that necessarily have to mean it?
I thought that was a weird comment. It felt like she has some agenda. I'm not sure what it is.
I also felt it made me a little itchy when she said that. So she's telling Dara he's younger, keep that in mind. And the only thing I could think of is that throughout the season, we've learned that Mia has a lot of her own anxiety going on right now about the fact that she's 34 and she wants to have children. She knows that emphatically. And she wants to have children within the structure of a marriage. And is Scott going to be available to her while still establishing his restaurants across the country? Because so far, that's not working for her right now. So was Mia projecting her own fears that she's got going on within herself right now onto Dara? Is she trying to protect KJ from potential fallout from dating Dara, who I don't know if Dara is white or a woman of color. I can't tell. She presents like she could be biracial, but I'm not 100% sure. But we have to remember that some of the most significant conversations that we've seen between Mia, Sierra, and KJ this year have been around dating people outside of their race and what can come with that. And we know that Sierra and Mia are trying to protect KJ at all costs from what Sierra has encountered as a result of dating Austin, Luke, and especially West. So there's lots of things going on. There's lots of things behind where Mia's coming from. But I wonder if it's mostly because she is projecting her own, what's on, like the thing that's burdening her mind at this point, you know?
Yeah, I don't know. That's an interesting take. I took it as jealousy of some sort, but I don't know. I just don't know why. Like that's the thing. I was like, why would she be jealous? She has a partner. What is her interest in this warning? It seemed like, and it felt like there was an agenda behind it, and not one of protection of somebody.
Hmm.
But
Hmm.
could be wrong.
Well, we'll see. We'll see. I mean, for all intents and purposes, KJ and Dara are each other's biggest fans, completely devoted and committed to each other on social media, in the public,
Mm-hmm.
you know, just in their lives. They are still very much together and very much happy and in love. And so, yeah. So the camera starts to pan to the dudes on one part of the boat, but then they quickly pan over to Sierra and West. And there is a shot of Sierra gazing at West. She is gazing at him, full face, hair pulled back, like a beam of smile, just love radiating from her. Accidental motherfucking renaissance. You know what I'm saying? My stomach fell when I saw this shot. She was in love with Wes Wilson. Whether she was admitting it to him herself or not, she was in love, and that gaze, it broke my heart. Then the camera pans right back to Jesse, Kyle, Ben, and Carl, and they're having a circle jerk of compliments for Kyle and how ripped he looks. And Carl tells him, "You're still looking shredded at 43. And I know that you and I last night just watched a 41-year-old LeBron James just win the Lakers the round one of the Western Conference, and he looks shredded. They both look great. LeBron is what it looks like to be shredded in your early 40s. You know what I mean? Anyway,
Yeah.
But good for Kyle. Good for Kyle. He says he has back dimples. And I've always wanted back dimples, dude. Always wanted back dimples. Some bodies just don't make back dimples. Anyway, so Kyle shares, "It feels weird without Amanda here." And Jesse asks, "Are you able to have more levity and fun because she's not there?" And Kyle replies like, "I mean, yeah, like no shit, Sherlock." And he shares with them, like, being myself just irritates her. And Jesse says, "Look, you guys either accept each other for who you are, including your faults, or I don't know." And the music is basically like a malfunctioning effect, like, rah, 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 like it kind of, descends into chaos. And Kyle's like, "Can we not talk about this anymore? Because I'm having a good weekend." And does therein lie the problem, like not talking about it? Or am I just being too nitpicky? I know that they're in therapy. They recently started couples therapy. We'll get to that scene. Does he have to talk about it right then? I guess not, right? If he's just wanting to party.
I don't think so. Yeah. I totally get why he wouldn't want to talk about it at that time out on a boat with, drinking. And it wasn't the right time or the right vibe. Hate siding with Kyle, who I can't stand, but
I know.
I totally get it.
Well, that's what we do on this show, honey. This is what I'm going to invite you to do, is that you and I have to put aside I'm going to invite you. I'm not going to tell you what to do. I would never do that. That's not true. But you know what I'm saying? Like,
It's absolutely not true. No, that's what I just did.
Yeah, you did.
But I just called it out. So
you did.
Let's move on.
Okay, I get it. I just wanted to praise you for that. That was great. So they have more revelry on the boat and they go home. And we see Ben in Sierra's room, who knows why. And then Wes comes in to hug her. And he says, "It's me, come here." And they embrace, like tightly, for like half a minute. Long enough of an embrace for KJ to notice as he's walking by her open bedroom door. And he says to them, "Love to see it." Like the whole house is ecstatic and on board for this reconciliation. I'm so mad at West because I think he is completely aware that he cannot give Sierra what she wants. I think he may suspect, or even more than suspect, that she is in love with him. And I think he's even more diabolical than we first thought when this all came out, because he knows it's wrong to play with her like this. And if they re-engage in a physical connection, he knows it would devastate her to learn that he's still fucking around with other women, not just Amanda, but like just the other women that he's seeing. And he's going to do it anyway. He's going to engage in a physical relationship anyway if he wants to, because he has to have that experience more than he cares about hurting Sierra. Like something takes over and makes the breadcrumbing of her necessary to him. Like it's almost like low-key predatory to me. And do I think that she compels him? 100%. Do I think he genuinely enjoys her personhood? Absolutely. But not the way he knows that she requires, and he does it anyway. And I find that unforgivable.
The attention. He likes the attention that it gives him from the group. He knows everyone is rooting for him. That makes him feel good. And it's diabolical. It's not cool. It's all for himself. That's what it comes down to. It's all to feed his ego, and it doesn't matter who it's hurting or who it's fooling. It's
collateral damage be damned, reputation be damned. In that oh wow, I can't imagine. So KJ mentions he's going to take a shower, and West says, I'm going to shower in the pool. And I only mention this because the editors have been going really hard all season to highlight West's questionable hygiene practices. Nope, I'm just going to change my tea. I'm not going to take a showie. I'm going to shower in the pool. Everyone is talking about it on Reddit. Okay, so now we know why Ben was in Sierra's room. They were planning to FaceTime Sabrina. And Sierra was so giddy in her voice when talking to her. And it was so cute how palpably happy Ben was to announce the news, too. Both of them, giddy, childlike. It just adds to the heartbreak. And pretty soon, Kyle's there, too. So she's flanked by two pinch-hitting bedbugs, Ben and Kyle. Temu bedbugs, if you will, Ben and Kyle. Larry David kind of, they'll do bedbugs. Should I go on? Never mind. I'll stop there.
I get it.
But I do need to mention that Kyle's shoes are on. His fucking black espadrilles, his summer footwear of choice, is there on a blanket. It's so gross.
We know how much Ramona hates shoes on the bed.
I hate shoes on the bed. I don't even like street clothes on the bed. So Sabrina is like, tell me everything. And Sierra breaks down their conversation detail by detail. As one does in situations like this, as one should be expected to do in a situation like this. Ben's like, tell her about the end, which is the best part. And I'm like, listen, and I'm looking at you, Higgy, while I'm saying this. And you and I have had this conversation. And then I've shared about this conversation when I've been with my girlfriends. What most men I've encountered, present company very much included, is that stories like these, the details are what make it that much better. It's the buildup. It's the fucking journey. So, like, please, I beg of you, you know how sometimes you'll come home and you'll tell me a story?
Yeah.
And I start asking questions. You're like, I don't know. I didn't ask. I don't know. I didn't ask. I don't know, babe. I don't know. And I'm like, what? And I'm like climbing the walls. Like, are you sure you don't remember? I'm asking you the same question, but in a different way in case that jogs your memory. And you're basically like, I didn't ask anything further. And I'm like, oh my God, how can you not? And I get upset. This is what I'm talking about. This is what I'm talking about. I beg of you, just open yourself to the journey of relaying stories and like this. Like it's only because if you get information like that, it would make me happy. It would mean a lot.
Oh my
God.
Oh my.
Honey, I'm kidding. I mean, I'm not, but I am. I hear myself say it out loud and I'm like, my God, am I a monster?
No, you're not a monster.
Am I annoying? I can be.
Yeah, of course.
So Sierra cuts to the chase where Wes says, okay, he said, listen, if you said the word, I would be your best friend tomorrow. And Sierra said, okay, let's be best friends. And when Sierra shares this, Ben shoves his beaming ass face into the camera and pumps his fists in the air. Compared to Kyle, who's completely unmoved and was like, wait, what? That's how it went? In the most blasé tone of all time. It was amazing to me. These whole last few episodes have been complete cinema. Goddamn. So Sierra tells her, then they cried, then she cried, And they hugged, and she cried some more. And Sabrina says, I'm going to cry, and tells her, well, Wes did say he has a crush on you. To which Kyle and Ben both shoot straight up into the air like, what in the fuck? And I'm
both for different reasons, though.
Both for different reasons, yes. But listen, okay, if you're going to react to stories like that, then you clearly understand the power of good stories like that. Therefore, and if you find yourself fortunate enough to be in on some good stories, you need to lay some respect on the good stories and ask questions. You got to mine for details, because then when you relay the story to me, for example, I will have an experience like Ben, Sierra, and Kyle are having right now. Poor Higgy. This is what he has to live with.
Oh, my.
So, yes, and like you said, there's two different reasons, two different reactions going on here. It turns out Ben's reaction is from shock because Sabrina wasn't supposed to share that. It was something Ben shared with her only. And in his confessional, Ben tells us, West told me after a night out in the kitchen that he still has a crush on Sierra. And I was so giddy to hear it. And he says, it's my fault for telling Sabrina. It's not going to help anything, especially if another girl sits on his lap again.
Yeah.
Anyway, what? Do you have something to say?
No, I thought I did, but I don't really.
All right. Well, if it comes back to you, let me know.
Okay.
This cast sits down for dinny at the tabby, as Wes says, and he's sitting next to Sierra. And Jesse says, I can't believe the summer is almost over. And Wes says, mine's just begun, brother. And Sierra just beams at Jesse and Ben like, oh, did you hear that? He does have a crush on me. He's so happy that we're talking again. He's so happy that we've made this progress. You guys. Heartbreaking, right? What a
so
dick.
Lame on his part. Yeah, so lame.
So lame.
He knows what he's doing.
He absolutely does. He absolutely does. And it's diabolical. So the cast discusses their plans for the week. We learn everybody's going to the soft bar opening in a few days back in New York. They talk about the progress that Carl's made in a year, from the pop-up truck to the actual storefront opening. And he says he has some people at this table who have been incredibly supportive with their wallets. And when he hears that, Kyle shoots his head up with a look of both confusion and pain. And Carl says, listen, everyone here has shared supportive energy with me, and I'm very thankful for that. And in his confessional, Kyle says he's shook. The initial investment conversation took place 7 months prior and a month ago at the Over the Hill party about how Kyle couldn't invest. He's tried to be honest with Carl about what's going on with his business, with Loverboy, his marriage, his sex life. Kyle says, Carl knows more than everybody. I put a pin in that. And he's not communicating with me because I'm having to hear about his issues with me from other people. Ay, ay, ay.
Well, Carl's target was hit. He absolutely intended that
Yeah.
to be.
You think so?
Yeah, totally. Totally. He didn't have to say wallets. He could have left it as energy.
Do you think maybe he wanted to make the people who did support him with financial investments feel acknowledged, or you think it was strictly coming from a place of trying to hurt Kyle?
He knew, everyone knows the situation. Everyone knew at that table knows that Carl asked him for help. Kyle couldn't. Everyone would have understood if Carl would have just left it as everyone here has been supportive of me. Everyone, like it'd be one thing if that was new news. Then I would think, yeah, maybe Carl wanted people to know about the monetary part of it too. But I think everyone knew the score, so I think that was a dig.
Oh God. It's like I see so much. I'm so happy. I mean, you've heard me talk about how happy I am about Carl and his sobriety, and he's just working such a strong program. And at the end of the day, we're all still people, completely capable of mistakes and hurting people and making bad choices, regardless. Ay, ay, ay.
Well, I think that's his. Carl looks up to Kyle for whatever reason. He looks at him as a mentor of sorts. And I think he's frustrated because he's shown Kyle so much support and admiration as a friend, and he's not getting it back to his satisfaction. And so that was his way, I think, of a shot across the bow.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It's very uncomfortable to watch. And speaking of uncomfortable to watch, we're treated to a terrible flashback. I've never seen footage. I don't remember seeing this, but maybe we did. And Jesse also operating so strangely that I lost a lot of goodwill that he had earned back from me in the last couple of episodes. In the flashback, we see Jesse in the kitchen with Kyle, snickering while telling Kyle, Carl was so hurt about you not investing that he wrote you an email but never sent it. I thought that was so mean. And it does nothing but make your two friends, Kyle and Carl, feel like awkward and betrayed. And you laughed while telling him. I don't understand what motivated Jesse in this moment.
That's totally on brand for him. He always uses whatever he can to relate to the person that he's talking to. He does it the same when he was, maybe I'm skipping ahead, but there was a scene where he's laying in bed with the two girls and then telling them like a bunch of stuff that he shouldn't be saying. He does it all the time. It's his way of like relating with the person that he's in front of at that time. And I think it's for them to like him more, or I don't know if that's the right thing, but it's always during like, with one or two people. It's never in a group setting. He never does it in front of everybody. It's only between one or two people. And he just says things that the other person that he learned it from would not want him saying. He does it all the time.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I thought it was exceptionally disappointing and gross.
I agree.
So the cast leaves for Murph's, except for Ben and Carl. Ben's FaceTiming Sabrina, and he's in full Yenta mode. And he's telling her that seeing Wes and Sierra together all day made me so happy. And now the four of us can go out together. He's very excited about that. Back after everyone gets home from the club, we see Kyle in bed texting Amanda. We see his thread. It reads, "Hi, texted you earlier but didn't hear back. I'm home now and going to bed. Talk tomorrow. Miss you." And nothing. And again, I think at this point in the summer, she is already emotionally involved with West at this point, and that's why she has entirely checked out of this relationship. And in his confessional, Kyle tells us how sad his text threads with Amanda are. He cites examples of how she leaves him unread, pretty much. And the only thing that got her to reply was when West texted, "Best night of my life." And he says, that's what it took to give her a little FOMO. I just want to give a little clap to the editors. Thank you for putting this in. Thank you. So upstairs, Wes and Sierra are saying goodnight. They're in a full embrace again. Her head is on his chest. He tells her, "I'm so glad we talked, even though it took us like 2 years." And they joke that she's stubborn and he's an idiot. And it looks like they're going to kiss. And I bet he considered it, but they don't. I think he's just fucking with her head at this point. I think he's just looking to make himself feel comfortable in the house. Her feelings be damned.
I saw it. I think she also had some reservations. I think she was protecting herself at that time too. As much as she, is enamored with him, I think she is still like, it's a percentage of weary.
What made you think that in that moment?
Because the way she turned away from him.
I didn't even notice it.
It was quick.
Mm-hmm.
Like she wanted to get herself out of that situation before something happened. That's what it felt like to me.
Good for her. Hopefully that was her gut. So the next morning, it's Sunday. Dara asks KJ, "Hey, how did it go?" telling everybody about our official title. And she tells him, "I saw you talking to Sierra and Mia, and I know that they ask the hard questions." And I feel like she's asking KJ in not in the clearest of way, but she's asking KJ, like, I need reassurance. Did you tell them that you're really into me? Did you tell them I'm a great girl? Did you tell them that I mean a lot to you and that you're really happy? And instead, he's like, listen, I told them at the beginning of the summer that I need that from them. I need them to like check in with me a lot and to, call me out on things. So I imagine that I'm projecting 100%, but I imagine that Dara may have felt a little unsettled in that moment, not getting the reassurance that she needed from KJ, and KJ not knowing that that's what she needed,
Mm-hmm.
But clearly, again, actions speak louder than words. He is all in 100%, So Jesse is peeing when Sierra walks into his room,
Oh,
and
my God.
he splashes the one hand that he was holding his dong in. No soap, just a little splash under some running water. I was disgusted. And she called it out, too.
I can't believe she wasn't more disgusted, though.
I know.
She just, let it go.
I know, but she also likes shoes on the bed. So I don't know, man. I don't know.
I don't know. I was waiting for her to say, go back and wash your hands.
I know. Oh, God. So the two of them start to yenta about Kyle, and Mia joins them in a minute. And Jesse says, Kyle didn't seem upset that Amanda wasn't there on the boat. And now he doesn't want to talk about the relationship with Amanda anymore. But that's a problem because it means he isn't saying anything because he knows whatever will come out of his mouth won't be positive. And Jesse says, I think they haven't had sex in maybe years.
See, this is what I'm talking about.
Yep, exactly. I see
This is what I'm talking about.
And Mia asks, where'd you hear that? And he says in a weird, like, Jim Carrey voice, like, rumors, the rumor mill. And Sierra asks who, and he doesn't even make them work for it. He's just like, Carl.
That what he said wasn't even relevant to what they were talking about.
Well,
Really.
They did ask how Kyle was doing.
Yeah, but the having sex thing has nothing to do with that.
I mean, they're talking about the state of their marriage.
I think that could have been left out. Again, he says things that the other person that he heard it from knows he shouldn't be saying.
No way. Yeah.
And so I think more relevant would have been the conversation he had with the three of them on the boat.
Go on.
Where he was asking how Kyle was doing. Kyle didn't want to talk about it.
Well, he did say that.
I know, but he didn't elaborate on it. But what he elaborated on was they're not having sex because that is more salacious. Yeah.
Right. Oh, yeah. And then Jesse has a little confessional where he's like, maybe this is why I'm not into it. The marriage, because, of all of the...
He's such a dude. What a dude.
The dynamics that change where you go from having more frequent sex to less frequent sex because you're married and yada, yada, missing the point that they are just in a very, very unhealthy marriage. And their relationship has been unhealthy for them probably the entire time. So Sierra wonders to the two of them if Kyle and Amanda have ever thought about how they would evolve individually in their relationship over the years. Are they still compatible or can they find that compatibility again? Gnarly. And I was asking myself, did I ever stop to think about how we would grow as individuals? Back when we first started dating and when we were first decided to be, boyfriend and girlfriend, then got engaged, et cetera, et cetera. And I think I did. I did spend some time. I guess you did not.
I did not. No. Who knows?
Turns out it's fine. I know, exactly.
But who knows? It's like being, trying to read the future.
Yeah. So they all say goodbye and the cast heads back to New York. We see scenes in New York where on Tuesday, KJ and Sierra are getting grills. And it made me think, I want a grill. I would really like a little diamond heart on my canine, I think, or the one right next to it. Anyway, it doesn't matter, honey. Honestly.
She made a comment, and the editors clearly wanted to keep it in for some reason, but I don't know why. But she made a comment to the person who does the grills, or makes the grills that they were meeting with. Mm-hmm. I can be whoever you want me to be.
Yes.
I don't get that. Why did they leave that in? It's not. It doesn't. The editors, I'm like, why? I was really questioning why they put that in because it doesn't speak to her regular personality or who they've, or how she's been in other it was just I think there's a lot of context left out that was probably being talked about before that comment. Because it just did not seem like her.
I wonder if it is the impact of her conversation with West has had such an effect on her that like parts of her personality that were kind of dampened down are now feeling like they can come back out. You know? You know when you're feeling kind of like burdened or oppressed by something emotionally or mentally, and then it gets resolved and like the parts of your personality that might be more flirtatious or have levity are able to come back out and kind of play with all the other parts of your personality. I wonder. I don't know. But I noticed that too. It was a very flirtatious little scene. So then we see a snippet of Bailey and Levi at lunch where Levi is showing a deck to Bailey, a deck about how to plan her 2-year anniversary party of her vlog It Girl. And I just loved that your world collided with the world on Bravo.
Oh my God. Not really.
Well, I mean, because you're a creative director and they were talking about a deck, but it was darling. Yeah. And Bailey is very proud of herself. She says that it is to celebrate It Girl, but also to celebrate all the people that she interviewed that helped It Girl blow up even more than it had. So congratulations to Bailey. I'm happy for her. And I wish we could see more of Levi. Maybe next year, or I don't know when. I don't know what's going to happen with Summer House, so who cares? Anyway, so Thursday, we see a walk with Sierra and Amanda. They're walking in the Seaport neighborhood, which is, I guess, in the financial district, and they sit down to chat. Sierra says, you missed a lot, and what did you miss? And I missed a big weekend. Amanda says, yeah, I missed a big weekend for you. And she didn't sound like happy. She sounded almost like jealous or annoyed that it was a big weekend for Sierra. Like, I don't really give a shit about missing that weekend. It was big for you. It had nothing to do with me. I don't know. I'm also projecting like a motherfucker because of everything that's going on, especially the audio leaks aren't helping anything. But like, I don't know. Did you think that was weird?
I do. Even if we didn't know what was going on, that's a weird comment to say to your friend.
Go on.
Well, why wouldn't you just say, oh, really? Tell me more.
Right.
I want to hear about it.
Right.
I'm curious to hear about it. Tell me what made it big or whatever, But that comment was,
Yeah. So we are treated to flashbacks of Amanda missing another critical big weekend in the Summer House lore, which is the weekend that Carl and Lindsay got engaged. I don't know, man. It's just weird that she can't be happy for her friend who has made up with the man that she is still pining over. Anyway.
Well, it's not weird now.
No, it's not weird now. No. So Sierra asks Amanda how her weekend was without Kyle, and Amanda says, it's fabulous. I needed it. And she says that she suspects she's falling into depression again. She's been very extra tired, not feeling like herself. But she and Kyle did go to therapy for that morning, just that morning.
Box checked.
That it did give that kind of,
100%. It was a box check because how verbose she was about the negative parts of the relationship. Like, she did not go into any positiveness that came out of the therapy session, the couples therapy session, but she was very verbose about the negative parts, and especially in her confessional. That was like pretty wild. I'm sure you're going to talk about that.
So in her confessional, Amanda says, I'm telling this woman, their new therapist, about our love story. And she's just like got the snarkiest tone. And it's like she's telling this entertaining story versus.
Yeah, she really lights up.
Go on. Keep going.
She really lights up talking about this.
Talking about this terrible situation in her marriage?
Yeah, sorry. Yeah.
Yeah, it's weird, right?
Yeah, it's really odd.
It is odd. So she's laughing. And she's like, I'm telling this woman our love story. And it sounds like a psychological thriller. Okay. There's no rom in the com. Okay. I'm telling her, so we met and he wouldn't define the relationship with me. And then he broke up with me. He made out with multiple women. We got engaged. And then there was a rumor that he cheated on me. And then we got married. And there's been multiple rumors ever since. And now we hate each other. And here we are.
I just had a thought.
Go on.
She's making a case. She's making the case.
She's making the case that it's all Kyle's fault for the demise of their relationship.
And she's probably feeling a little guilty, as you said. Her and Wes are already in some sort of relationship, whether physical or just emotional.
Mm-hmm.
And she's making a case, maybe not to everyone, but to herself, of why it's okay.
For sure. Ay. So the therapist is all, where's the part where you fall in love? And she just ends with this snarky laugh. And it was so gnarly. So she tells Sierra, I could tell that some of the things I was bringing up in therapy were making Kyle uncomfortable. And it's funny, like when we talk in therapy, I feel like my frustrations with him stem from our early on days, like my traumas. So whenever I'm talking, I'm referring to our pre-wedding days. And he's talking about our current situation. So she's kind of explained that they're anchored in different places. So Sierra tells Amanda what Kyle told Jesse and that he was able to be himself without her there that weekend.
Amanda's talking about her resentment.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And Kyle, he talks about the current state because he doesn't realize, he still thinks that, that's the past.
Right. Exactly. I don't know that he ever gave her what she would consider to be a sufficient amends about, No, he never did though, because listen, honey, listen.
Hmm.
Sufficient amends to Amanda would have looked like, I'm not going to be a DJ. And if I am, I'm not going to get
100%.
wasted and I am going to come home when I'm done.
100%.
But instead, he continues to not change any of his behavior, even the ones that she's specifically asking him to change, laying out the blueprint of what it would look like. Very easy for all intents and purposes, and he's not doing it.
He knows exactly what she wants and needs. And you're right. That would have been him trying.
Mm-hmm.
Like she probably just wants to see some effort. But he continues just to be himself and selfish and not try at all.
Yeah. Sierra says in her confessional, behind closed doors, nobody really knows what's happening in a marriage. But at this point, I would hope and pray that it's entirely different than what I'm seeing. What I'm seeing doesn't feel like it's conducive to building a future together. And Sierra asks Amanda, do you ever think about separating to see how it would feel and work on your issues together, but with space between you? And Amanda says Kyle would never go for it. She would, but Kyle would never go for it. So then we head to Brooklyn for the sophomore opening. And they don't give us the day stamp, but it is Wednesday. So we know that the scene that we just saw with Sierra and Amanda talking on the bench in Seaport happened the day after the party at Softbar. But for editing purposes, they edited them and they flipped them around. I don't know. Just interest. It takes me out. I don't know what that is. You don't give a shit. I absolutely want to analyze this.
Yeah. I mean, just thinking about it more now, I'm not sure what it would add.
Oh my God. Amanda hasn't asked anything of Sierra really about how the conversation with West, and she knows when they're having this conversation on that bench, she knows because Jesse told her that she and West went out with Sabrina and Ben the night before, but she's not asking any of that shit.
That's right.
And I mean, I don't know about dudes, but I know when women know that their friends have gone out the night before with a guy that they like, they want literally, what did you wear? What did you order? Where did you sit in the restaurant?
Yeah.
And Amanda's not asking anything. Holy shit.
Or at least that we saw.
Mm-hmm. At least that we saw. True. So in his confessional, Carl is telling us about the journey that it's taken him to get there, concept, the pop-ups, the realization, and basically he's like, pure passion and hard work, it works. Told you, that's what he says. Like he's very proud of himself that he stuck to this. Because that was one of the things that Lindsay used to always put him down about. Like you say you want to do these things, but you never do, I don't know. He was still young, man.
He also wasn't clear-headed at that time.
He was not clear-headed at that time. I honestly don't think that 2 hours from concept to realization, that does not sound like a long time to me.
No.
I don't know. So Mia, Bailey, Levi, and KJ are at Soft Bar. Carl greets them. Bailey asks him, hey, where's the drink on this menu that you told me makes you horny? And he's like, it's not out yet. And she's like, well, I can't wait to try it. So like she's giving Carl she's like lobbing all of the, I like you, I like you, I like you. Right,
Yeah.
right. What do you think about Carl and Bailey, honey? What do you think about them dating?
Yeah, I don't know.
No?
Bailey, nah, not really. Bailey's, yeah, I think she's a little too, I don't know if immature is the right word, but yeah, she feels like a little, I don't know. I just don't see it. I don't know.
I felt very much like a late bloomer. I felt like a teenager until I was in my 30s. Like I didn't know anything or what I was doing. But
They don't seem like a match at all to me.
Really?
Yeah.
I have a feeling they're dating. But anyway, so in her confessional, Bailey says, I'm so proud of Carl. Look what he accomplished. It's sexy. The way that she was talking about him on Watch What Happens Live with Lindsay last week, I think that she was, or a couple days, just last week. I think they're dating. So Wes shows up. Everyone is raving about how delicious the drinks are, even though there's no booze in it. And I'm like, yeah, that's not hard. As someone that often seeks out the non-alc sections of cocktail menus now, I don't miss it personally.
I wish the editors would have caught all his friends looking at their watch, like, when can I leave to go get alcohol?
You think that was happening?
Yeah, 100%. They all are like insanely, they drink so much that it's like literally their identity is to drink. And they're at a gathering together with no alcohol. Like, I think they're all looking at their watch like, okay, when can we go to a real bar?
Two things. One, it reminds me of when we went to do you remember when you designed the logo for the vegan restaurant pop-ups that were going on in San Diego? And then we would go and then we would go get a burger after at Starlight.
Yeah, totally. That's exactly it.
That's not a dig on vegan food, okay? It just happened to be that we were treated to a meal one night that was very petite and we needed to go sustenance ourselves after. The second thing is, do you think that because you and I are at a very different stage in our social life than these people are, that they drink a lot? Like, would you be also looking at your watch when you can go get a real drink? Or do you think you would have cared even back then?
No, I would have definitely been looking at my watch.
You would have been looking at your watch?
Yeah. I definitely would have. But, I thought it was awesome that they were there supporting their friend.
Yeah.
It's great. But so no shade. I was just, when watching that scene, I was like, I bet they're all just like, when can we get out of here?
Just an observation.
Go get a drink.
So Sabrina and Ben are there and they're talking to KJ, and KJ asks, hey, how are you two lovebirds doing? And Ben looked defensive and like he had just been indicted instead of neutral or happy to be greeted by KJ in this way. And it's like he took it as a dig because he responded, well, that's rich coming from you, mate.
Yeah.
It was not a put down coming from KJ. It wasn't a put down. You guys are in love. I'm in love. Let's all be in love together and celebrate this. But Ben was angry. Honey, what the hell?
Yeah, it was weird. I mean, like, I think I said that night that he's, protecting his ego. And I'd be curious to know how much he is open with his girlfriend about his feelings for her. I wonder if he like holds back a bit to control the situation, and that
gross. I hope not. That's gross.
And that comment made him feel like, oh man, you're revealing too much. Just observation.
This is interesting. This is interesting. He tells KJ, we're good. And Sabrina asks Ben in front of KJ, well, did you tell him about Christmas yet?
Oh, boy.
We learn that Ben is bringing Sabrina home to Australia for Christmas to meet his family. And Sabrina says, all right, well, tell him what you said to your mom. And we learned that at some point, Ben told his mom the next person I bring home is going to be like the special one, the one, implying that it's going to be the one I'm going to marry. And Josh, I think that Sabrina is both Ben's worst nightmare and exactly what he needs. And that is why he's so drawn to her. He knows that she's going to make him uncomfortable and push him where he knows he needs to be pushed, even if he doesn't want to be. But like, he does not have to be with this woman. But Sabrina is like, we know exactly who she is from what she's shown us so far. She's like, I'm going to say it. I'm going to say it on the top of a fucking mountain with my full voice while also wearing my heart on my sleeve. And guess what? That's what you're going to do too.
Mm-hmm.
And he fully knows this. It's like, this is the thing that makes me think people get together because they're supposed to get together, because that person, if you choose, they are going to show you what you need to be shown about yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Don't you think?
Yeah. It makes me think that maybe he's more effusive with her when they're alone, but he doesn't want that to be seen outside. He doesn't want the others to think that he's like head over heels with her for whatever reason. I don't know what that is.
I don't either. I always appreciated that about you, is that you were never one to shy away or like downplay your feelings about me to other people. You were like, hell yeah.
Yeah, why?
Listen, that wasn't always my experience. Look at West.
Yeah.
Wests are out there, Josh. A lot of them. There are so many Wests and Jessies in the world, and Kyles. You have no idea. So many. Anyway, good luck, Ben. And he's clearly also there, still very happily involved on social media, just like Dara and KJ. Good for Sabrina. Good for Sabrina. She's not going to fucking change for that crotchety, cranky Australian. And he's with her because she's going to open him up. And he's willing to do it, or he wouldn't be with her. So I'm going to commend both of them. We see Carl's mom, Sharon, walk in, and she's greeted by Mia and West. And she asks West, like, please help me make sure I don't make any ill comments, because I got in trouble last year. And we see a flashback to the soft bar food truck quasi pop-up they had in another part of the Hamptons. Or where did they go? Did they go to Montauk for that one? I can't remember. It doesn't matter. But we see her talking to, I think, West and Jesse, right? About...
Yeah, I just thought that was a weird comment for her to make. Like, why would you bring that up? Like, she wanted everyone to know that, and I just don't know why.
So these people have been filming this show for 10 years. They have been Bravo celebrities for 10 years. They know about media literacy and how to behave and when the cameras are on. And Sharon just shows up, and she's just Sharon trying to figure it out as she goes along, you know? On one hand, I kind of am really compelled by her lack of filter. She's very what you see is what you get. And I think that's what draws me to her. And that's what probably makes her and Carl have such a close relationship. Like, she's very honest, you know? But I never thought that what she said, either in the text message that we'll talk about in a few minutes or in this flashback that we see the flashback of her talking about how it's been a crap year since the breakup between Carl and Lindsay ending their engagement. And she mentions that Lindsay was also a little mean to me, and she's not ready to fully forgive and forget yet. For the mother of a son that has just ended a very, and publicly ended an engagement of a prolific Bravo relationship, I found her text to Lindsay that we'll talk about in a minute, and this flashback that we see extremely appropriate and nothing offensive about it. Just honest and real. I don't know. Am I crazy?
No, I thought so too.
So West assures Sharon, just so to relieve you, Carl and Lindsay have been getting along all summer. Kyle and Amanda walk in. They are very wowed by it, wowed by the scope and the crowd at Soft Bar. And we see West and Sabrina talking together. She is super giddy, and she's just like so excited for the four of them to go out after. So we learn that Sierra and West and Amanda and Kyle are going to be going out as a foursome after the soft bar launch. And this made me violently angry. And my hand just went into a fist, even knowing I'm going to read this note. In his confessional, after we see this scene of Sabrina telling him, I'm so excited we get to go out. Wes says, well, Sabrina told me I was going to go on a double date. I don't know. I'm just a grown man who gets told what to do. I don't know. That's what he struck me as, such an idiot. She said, West, you and Sierra should come to dinner. And Sierra, agreed. And so then I agreed. It's too soon for that, you know? We've been friends for fucking 5 minutes. We're not date ready, but Sabrina booked our fucking wedding venue already, I feel like.
Yeah.
And this is so gross because the way he's embracing Sierra, both at the beginning of the day and at the end of the day, the previous weekend, and then this confessional, and also the detachment, well, I don't know. Sabrina said we were going to go out, so I guess we're going out. Just along for the ride. I'm 31. He's a fully formed adult, but he's doing this bullshit. It made me so grossed out.
Mm-hmm.
What's his problem, hun?
Yeah, I don't know when that confessional was taped.
They taped them shortly before the show's going to air.
Yeah, so I feel that he probably felt like, oh man, this is going to ruin my chances of being seen as a single person. I think there's a lot going on there. He wasn't being portrayed how he wants to be seen. I think as like a single person. It's going to ruin his chances with other women if they think that him and Sierra are a thing now. And so he had to let a little bit of air out of the balloon.
That's so gross, dude. That's so gross.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, that's so gross. I can't believe I missed that.
It's so dumb.
It's so dumb. I don't know. And I could be being a dick, but I swear, and maybe because you just said it a couple minutes ago, maybe I wasn't being a dick, but there were a few times in this episode where I saw West, in my opinion, making fun of the drinks. He takes a sip of Bailey's non-Aperol Spritz, and he asks in a tone, well, does it have any benefits? Because we see on one of the walls, there's a graphic that says drinks with benefits. And I know in their menu, they say that some of the drinks have adaptogens in them and yada, yada. And then I saw him holding a non-alcoholic beer later in the episode. And he seemed kind of snarky about it. Oh, look, I'm holding up a non-alcoholic beer. What the fuck is the point of this? And
That's
it's just
what I mean. They're all looking at their watches, or he was for sure.
But it's so rude. It just doesn't seem, it's almost like he's worse than we all thought. I don't know. Maybe, I'm sure there's people out there listening like, Ramona, no, he's always been this. This has always been who he's been. But I don't know. I just could see him making fun of non-alcoholic cocktails, and I don't like it. He does not feel like a safe person. No shit, Sherlock. I get it. So again, Amanda and Kyle are in awe of how far the place has come, and they're talking about it. I guess Kyle saw it 2 weeks before, and he's in awe of how far it's come, and they're looking at the menu. Kyle's scanning it, and he wonders out loud, oh, I don't see Loverboy in the menu, and even though we discussed it being offered. And I just don't get super happy for Carl vibes from Kyle.
No, he's jealous for sure.
He does seem jealous, doesn't he?
Yeah, he's for sure jealous. And, this is also, he seeks the spotlight, and the spotlight wasn't on him. It was on Carl. And so that was at play too. And so how can I bring a little bit of that spotlight on me? Oh, Loverboy's not on here. I can't even say that, he can't even claim that. And so I think he just felt left out, and there's no way that the spotlight could be on him at all. It wasn't about him that night.
It's so toxic.
That's what it felt like to me. But Amanda, on the other hand, I felt she was very happy for Carl, and it felt genuine to me.
It did to me at times. Not all the time, but it did to me at times. I would have been very much oh my God, I am so happy for you. This is so amazing. I love it. You should be so proud of yourself. Look at this and this and this, and she was like, wow. I don't know. She was just amanding. In his confessional, Kyle says, not only did we discuss soft bar serving Loverboy non-alc, I literally connected him to our distributor. Things were set in motion, and to show up and there's no lover boy, it's like, damn, I don't know if this is punishment for not investing, but it hurts. Ay, ay, ay. Ay, ay, ay. Well, Sierra arrives. She is effusive and tells Carl how special it is and how busy the block is and how great that like the neighborhood seems. And Carl makes his way to Kyle and Amanda to greet them, and Dara and Jesse, and everyone's very congratulatory to him. And in this moment, we see, Bravo soft launching the show in the city that's going to debut right after the finale concludes on the 19th of May. So an in the city castmate, her name is Georgina. She is arriving with Lindsay. She's Lindsay's best friend. And Georgina is, I guess, trying to like do her best Samantha Jones of some sort because she says, oh, I'm too old to leave Manhattan, especially for a bar where I can't drink anything. And Lindsay's like snarkily musing, well, here we are in Brooklyn going to my ex-fiance's sober bar. And I'm like, yeah, bitch, your ex-fiance, who you just shot like 2 or 3 weeks ago, a commercial for Uber Eats. So like you're monetizing off of Scamanda 2.0 with your ex-fiance. So yeah, how about yay? I don't get it. I don't get why Lindsay has to be so defended when it comes to Carl. She is still so humiliated over their engagement ending, being taped for the show. But no one is like judging her or laughing at her about it. That's the thing. Nobody, I don't know anyone who's judging or laughing at either of them for ending their engagement.
She's still upset at Carl.
She is still so upset at Carl.
Yeah, that's it.
So in her confessional, Lindsay snarks that it took 2 years after our breakup, but here we are. He's actually doing something that deserves my attention. I would prefer to have my juices have alcohol in them, but I'll go support his $25 fruit drinks.
So lame.
I thought that was so, and I'm not trying to go hard on Lindsay. I'm not trying to be a misogynist. I just like, as someone who, although my times being defended are way more few and far between than they were, like I get where she's coming from. I get that she feels like she needs to protect herself, but like it's not working. Not 2 years after, not with this much venom.
Now it feels pathetic.
Yes, it does. It's having the exact opposite effect.
Yeah.
But she's proud of it. And I feel bad for her. Like, it's so much work, I feel like, to be that angry at Carl still. He did her a favor. I don't know. It's very sad for, I feel sad for her that she has to feel that defended still.
Mm-hmm.
So she and Georgina walk in, and Carl welcomes them very profusely, and she brought him a gift. I felt like it was cringe when Carl asked if it was a Labubu, because it was clearly not a Labubu, but like, I don't know. I was like, oh God. And she's like, I know you love everything soft. And she's like, so if you need a hug, and I guess this is also a dig at Carl because he asked for hugs from his partner. And we see a flashback of an awkward hug between them after a fight where he's like hugging and he's like, harder, harder. So in his confessional, Carl says, do I miss her? 100% I do. I miss the friendship that I had with Lindsay. And this little moment with the teddy bear, even if it's a little backhanded or silly or whatever she's going for here, it means a lot to me. Thank you, Lindsay. I appreciate you coming. Your feedback, believe it or not, is why we're standing here right now.
That was really big of him to say.
Massive.
Yeah, so that shows really who he is and how far he's come.
I agree. And just to refresh everyone's memory, part of what Lindsay's issues were with Carl when they were engaged was that she didn't feel like he was ambitious enough or that he would ever complete things that he wanted to do. And so she's got some residual anger going on here that like, oh, now you're going to show up and do the thing. But like he's saying, yeah, I am. And it is to you, Lindsay. Thank you. So all this work he's done in his sobriety includes work at like knowing that protecting his ego is not the way to peace. And she is still protecting her ego, and she is feeling no peace and working really hard. And I would like for Lindsay Hubbard to have peace. I would. Anyway, so he puts a little teddy bar up somewhere where people can see it, and more past castmates come, and more in the city castmates join the group. Luke Gulbranson, who was responsible for bringing Sierra to the cast in season 5, the COVID season. He is there, and he's congratulating Carl. And just so everyone knows, and maybe you're familiar or not, but Luke is now running for Congress in Minnesota's 8th congressional district. So good luck to Luke. He may not have been someone that I would want my friends to date, but I hope that he wins his seat. Anyway, all roads lead to Bravo. Remember Robert Garcia quoting Real Housewives of Salt Lake City on the fucking Congress, on the House floor? Receipts, proof, timeline, screenshots, fucking everything. Iconic. Andrea and his wife Lexi show up. They're also going to be on In the City. So Carl makes a speech to everybody welcoming them to Soft Bar. He says this concept was born from the desire to break generational traumas around alcoholism and addiction. And from his speech, it sounds like his business partners have also lost loved ones to addiction and alcoholism. And we all know that Carl lost his brother to drug addiction, and that was what got Carl sober. All these people, these family members that have passed, inspired Soft Bar. And in his confessional, Carl says, "This broke my heart. Of course I wish my brother was here. But I don't know if Soft Bar would exist if he was here. My brother passing away was what saved my life. I don't know if I would have looked in the mirror like I did if he didn't pass." And when he said this, I about lost it. I would burn Soft Bar to the ground to get my brother back. But if I can reconcile that my brother is in a safer place, looking out and protecting me, and he's guiding over me and making sure I stay on the right track.
Yeah.
And he ends his speech to the crowd saying he's really fucking proud, thanks everyone from the bottom of his heart, and couldn't have done it without them. I'm so happy for him.
Yeah, he's a good guy.
He seems like a good guy. So Lindsay notices that Carl's mom, Sharon, is there. And she tells Georgina that she hasn't spoken to her since the weird text she got from her a month after their engagement ended. And the text said, and this was from September 19, 2023, this was Sharon's text to Lindsay. "Dear Lindsay, I know I have not reached out to you since everything happened. Please understand that I do care for you and want only the best for you. I hope you are taking care of yourself, Sharon." And in her confessional, Lindsay wonders, why even send that? My goal is to keep my distance and avoid. I found nothing wrong at all with that text. I thought it was an extremely gracious and kind way to acknowledge, hey, your engagement with my son ended.
Mm-hmm.
This is a weird time. I have nothing but support for you, though. I thought it was loving and kind.
Yeah. It was very kind. And, it says more about Lindsay than anything that she would have that reaction.
It made no sense to me, that reaction.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. So Sharon makes her way to Lindsay through the crowd, who seems to sense that she's standing there, but her ego won't let her just admit it and make eye contact with her and reach out. She's going to make Sharon work hard to have this conversation. Did you get that sense too?
Yeah, I got that sense too. And then when she had the conversation, Lindsay was a total bitch about it. She was not giving an inch. She wouldn't even give her anything, and it made her work even harder.
She was defended.
Mm-hmm.
And it made me think of a conversation that I had recently, maybe a year and a half ago, with someone that I thought was a bully from high school. And I had my little conversation planned out of what I was going to say when I saw this person. And I did. And I stuck to my script. And guess what? I didn't feel the way I thought I was going to feel after I said it.
Yeah.
I was defended, and I was protecting my ego, and it fell fucking flat.
Mm-hmm.
It didn't work. So Sharon compliments Lindsay on how fabulous she looks for someone who just had a baby. I wasn't a fan of that. I didn't care for that. She congratulates Lindsay, asks her how she's doing. And Lindsay seems to be working really, really hard to be shut off from Sharon. And Sharon asks, do I get a hug? Which I also did not care for that. But Lindsay says, you and Carl love hugs. And she reluctantly hugs Sharon. Sharon asks how baby girl is going. Is she walking? And Lindsay says, not quite, but she's a go-getter, just like her mom, in her snarky voice. And then she references Sharon's comments from last summer. And she says, she's also slightly mean, just like me, right? And Sharon knows what she's referencing. And she says, listen, you are you. And that's the most important thing to be. I am glad I get to see you. And Lindsay says, it's good to see you too.
But didn't mean it.
No. Like, does Sharon need the hug so that she can feel better about something? Or does she genuinely want to is that how she make a connection with Lindsay? Does Lindsay need to be snarky to feel powerful? Like, on one hand, I really get it. But on the other hand, like, what could be if she was open, you know? Then we have a conversation with Amanda and West. Amanda asks him, so Saturday went well? And he tells her it probably couldn't have gone better. And Kyle tentatively enters, wanting to know if he can eavesdrop. Like, he's very, like, walking on eggshells around West and Amanda, which struck me as really strange. He's like, I tried to fill Amanda in, and West tells Amanda, I wish you would have been there when everyone else got out of the cars so that we could, like, fuck with you. And Amanda says, I was so happy to hear about the conversation, but she didn't look or sound happy when she said that. That's just me, but I'm projecting. We see Danielle there. Danielle. She's also going to be on In the City. And she congratulates Carl. While a few feet away, Lindsay is telling Kyle, wow, this is like a reunion of sorts. And she tells Kyle, yeah, Danielle's like not much far behind me. We learn that Lindsay and Danielle have not spoken since February of 2025, which is when season 9 started airing. Lindsay saw Danielle's, and I quote, brutal confessionals where Danielle said, Carl and Lindsay under the same roof and she's pregnant? And then we see a flashback to them on the beach having a conversation where Lindsay is explaining that she and Gemma's dad, Turner, may move in together when it feels normal. And Danielle snarkily says the normal relationship pace has sailed. Like, you're pregnant and you're not living together. So Lindsay tells Kyle, I'm too busy to do anything and I don't need friends with negativity, referring to Danielle. And Kyle says, I'm going to go scope it out and see what's going on. So he says hi to Danielle, and he says, I didn't know that you and Lindsay were having beef. And while this conversation's going, Lindsay Irish goodbyes, saying that she needs to go relieve her nanny. And I think it's so that she doesn't have to see Danielle at all. So stay tuned, everybody, for In the City. And Danielle tells Kyle Lindsay was hurt by how things were said. Again, like West being detached when he was talking with Sierra about his own actions instead of saying my choice is to do whatever, he says about the collective you. Well, Danielle is saying how things were said, not what I said in my confessional about Lindsay. I find it so disgusting. Just fucking nut up. If you're going to say something, just fucking say it and claim that you said it. We all know you did anyway, and it just makes me lose respect. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Elsewhere in the bar, Jesse asks Amanda, do you feel recharged and ready for the weekend? And she's like, no, but it's only Wednesday. So we know the conversation that she had with Sierra took place the next day, but in the episode it's taking place before this. Okay. Jesse says, I can't believe you missed the squashing of the beef with West and Sierra. And he says, and now they're hanging out after this. And this activated and woke Amanda up. She's like, tonight? And Jesse says, well, Sabrina texted me.
See? Here we go. Jesse being Jesse again.
Okay.
Here we go.
This
is it again.
Wow. I never noticed what a conduit he was to like all this bullshit.
Yeah.
Holy shit. Okay. She said, Ben and I are going to drinks with Sierra and West after. You should come. So they're back to being normal friends, I guess. And Amanda's face, it had like a look of alarm on it. And she's like, okay, but like, that's not friends. And Jesse's all, yeah, that's a double date. And Amanda says, how do we go from 0 to 100? I mean, they're going on a double date. West has to be cautious because I don't think she can handle just a friendship, but we'll see. And that's it. Any final thoughts, Hickey, on the episode? Any final thoughts on Wes and Amanda? Anything about the season at all?
Yeah, I mean, you and I have talked about this being the best thing for Bravo. This makes this like, my conspiracy theory mind goes to, was this all planned? Like, yeah, I know that it's not, but it's just like so perfect. It's all so perfect to make for just an amazing season. So, but no, I don't have. I mean, I think I've said everything that I feel. It was really interesting to know everything that we know, and to I think some of the comments and interactions that may have been just throwaway, if you didn't know that, makes it a lot more interesting.
Mm-hmm.
So again, I think Bravo's really benefiting from this a lot.
They're leaning
but
into
yeah,
it.
It's interesting. It's really interesting.
Would you like to share what else you watched this week? I mean, I guess I can for the both of us because we usually just watch everything together, right?
Yeah, you do that.
We tried watching Nikki Glaser and we had to turn it off, which kind of surprised me because we usually like a big fan of her stand up, but it was just not. I don't know. I wasn't compelled.
Wasn't good.
We watched an episode of Widow's Bay on Apple TV, the comedy mystery scary show.
It was good.
It was good. It was good. We watched The Real Houses of Beverly Hills reunion. You fell asleep.
Mm-hmm.
And then we did watch some season 6 Summer House, right? Did we watch some season 6 of Summer House?
A little bit. We watched Curbed. We watched a lot. We watched a few Curb Your Enthusiasms, which was really great to rewatch.
We've been palate cleansing with some Larry David. Thanks to one of my therapists mentioning it to me.
Mm-hmm.
Everything comes back to therapy. Mentioning it to me, like I was having a hard time with something, and she's like, "Did you ever watch Curbed?" And I was like, "Yes." She's like, "Topsy-turvy it. Like he was, like Leon was explaining to him to do, like topsy-turvy someone." And I was like, "Oh my God." Anyway, to topsy-turvy my thoughts, like try to, if I'm having, flip them. Thank you. Yes, Higgy. Thank you. Do you want to share an antidepressant this week?
I think my antidepressant this week was you and Leo.
Oh, go on, honey.
Yeah, I mean, I always get, it was a intense work week for me, and being able to, end my days with you and Leo and our silly family, and yeah, that was definitely probably my antidepressant for this week.
Oh, hon, I love that. Thank you.
Yeah.
Mine was last weekend. I got to see our friend and her daughter. They were up from Southern California, and I got to spend the afternoon with them, and it was super fun. It was great to see them both. And then Monday, Leo had the day off from school, so he and I got to go to the Cal Academy together. And I love having daytime adventures with that kid. It was super fun, and like every time he let me still hold his hand, I was so happy. And I got to do it a lot that day, and it was lovely. And he's I just love watching that kid. So that's all I can think of for right now. But on that note, our kids' play date's going to be over in about 20 minutes. So perfect timing. Josh, thank you so much, honey, for spending some of your free time today.
Yeah, it was fun.
Recording this with me. It was fun. I love watching Summer House with you. I love watching Bravo with you, but I love watching Summer House with you. Rewatching episodes with you. It's such a joy. I love watching you react to these people. And I'm really grateful that I have a husband that enjoys Bravo with me. I feel very lucky.
Yeah, it's fun, babe. It's a lot of fun.
Good.
Thank you for having me today.
Oh, my gosh. My pleasure. Anytime we can, we will. All right, everybody. Well, thank you so much for listening. Please take really good care of yourself. Feel free to share the podcast with other people, especially if you know people that are like, hey, what's up with Summer House? I keep reading about this, and you watch Bravo, right? Just go, do I have the podcast for you? And shoot them the last, 13 episodes that we've talked about this season. Feel free to drop us a 5-star rating on your platform of choice, podcast platform of choice. We would really appreciate that. And Margie's going to be back soon. Yay. All right.
Yay.
I know. We miss you, Margie. We love you. Can't
miss
wait to
you,
see
Margie.
you. And I guess that's it, everybody. We'll talk next week. All right. Bye.
Okay, bye.
Ramona and Margie are obviously not doctors and do not provide medical advice. Their content is intended to be used for entertainment purposes only. It is not intended to be, should not be interpreted as, or used as a substitute for medical advice or a diagnosis of any health or fitness problem, condition, or disease, nor a recommendation for a specific test, doctor, care provider, procedure, treatment plan, product, or course of action.
My mom isn't a doctor.